Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be doing the NBA 2024 in review, going over the good, the bad, and the ugly. But first, I want to welcome the panel and a special shout out to Steam Engine, who made it here first, the first time ever. How are you, sir? You're on mute.
God damn it.
Exactly.
He ruined
it.
Just like that, he ruined it.
Oh, wait. All right.
What the hell? You guys started on time?
Well, you guys weren't even here. We figured we thought you'd still be continuing your show.
He's cutting into my intro time, so just move past him. Go to the next one.
We've got NMB Sports. Nick, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Glad to be here as always.
We've got the Hoop God 23 with the worst Santa hat in the world. How are you, sir? Or is that even a Santa hat, or is that just a beanie?
Yeah, it's a Santa hat. Alkaline water, orange, lemon, lime. Hey, ready for a great show, guys.
We've got AOH. How are you, sir?
Hey, we drummed up some Jokic hate to throw at Scap if anyone comes over from the previous show. Enjoy, Scap.
We've got Robin Sports and Fitness Rants. How are you, sir? Oh no, you're lagging.
You know how I'm doing, man. Happy New Year, man. Happy holidays, man. Shout out to everybody on the panel, man. It's great to be back with you guys on another Sunday show. Like my man AOA said, we already got the show started, man. We kicked it off early with a little pregame rants, man. So let's go, guys. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
Hey, y'all couldn't hear him through his mute? I heard him loud and clear.
No, it lagged a little on my end, but it's fine.
Okay.
You look so intellectual, Steam Engine. You got me fooled.
Just wait. I brought information today.
He has at least one step.
Yep.
Hey, are you carrying an apple like LeBron with his ensemble in the post game?
That's what these aren't even prescription glasses.
We've got newcomer.
They have no glass in them, don't they?
No, there's real glass.
We've got newcomer Mr. Moss, who's come to my show the last couple times. I thought he had some great insights and wanted to have him join us on the panel today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good this morning, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Love the crew, love the panel. Old school NBA analysis. Enjoy it, man.
Yep. And we got Jay Scapatak. How are you, sir?
Doing well, Dark. Thank you. Thank all of you for being here to do the year in review. Good seeing all of you. A merry belated Christmas, a happy soon to be New Year's to everyone out there watching along, and we all thank you guys too who are on here watching. Appreciate you guys. And real quick, Dart, as bad as the Hoop God's Santa hat may be, it pales in comparison to that ass Dallas Cowboys banner behind him. So Hoop God, maybe just keep the picture off, bruh. Just keep it. We don't need to see that.
Hey, I'm a loyal fan. We're not making the playoffs, but I'm gonna stay 10 toes down.
Steam Engine, since you came here first, and you have one way, and you have one stat ready. What is the best thing you've seen over the last year? We're going to start positive because this channel is all about positivity.
All right. I had a negative, but I didn't want to start positive, if I'm being honest. But that's fine. The one thing that stood out to me as Trae Young, if I'm reading this correctly, is leading the league in assists. And that's what 2 out of the last 3 years. And for some reason, I can't stand that man, and I don't know why. I was hoping to get to the bottom of it at some point today. I wanted to cover that, and also wanted to cover the fact that where is it? Anthony Davis is averaging something like 30 and 14. And I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but why does LeBron need help? I know you said positive. This is me being positive about Anthony Davis. So why does LeBron need help again? Those are like two glaring things that stand out to me that the NBA, again, is just dropping the ball marketing-wise. So I was hoping we could cover just a little bit of that. I'll save my actual factoid for when it's appropriate.
I'm not sure if you said something good, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't like Trae Young, and LeBron doesn't need help.
Those are positives.
Never
right.
start off with Speam ever again. Never.
It's a bad
This was
experiment.
this was his prepared day.
It's a bad experiment. Bad
That was his brilliant research. He couldn't even get
No,
Anthony
I
Davis's
have-
numbers right.
I
got
got
it.
stuff to say.
I'm sorry to say, Speam, but it's not just the looks. I've realized that your voice sounds like Richard Jefferson also.
No, it doesn't.
After listening to him announce on Christmas Day, I actually took an ice pick to my ears, and now I'm hearing it all over again.
I'm real, I'm going to be real drunk and real sensitive in about 20 minutes. So get them out now.
Nick, what's the best thing you've seen over this last year in the NBA 2024?
Oh man, I was gonna go the good. Well, the good obviously for me is the Mavs made the finals last year, so that one's easy. But the best thing in the last
the best, whatever. It's the positive.
Okay, yeah. Well, that one's easy for me, and so I'll just say that I don't have to eat up a bunch of time. But
Thank God.
that, and also Nico Harrison. I can't. That guy is our general manager and GM making moves. I think he is not getting enough credit for what he's done in Dallas. So I'll be short and sweet. I'll leave it there.
Hoop God, what about you? What's the good over the last 2024?
The Cleveland Cavaliers got out the gate, 16 straight wins with no losses. Of course, like NMB stated, you got Clay going to the Dallas Mavericks. I think that was a great pickup. On the way he is, like with his roster just being up and down, I mean, to me, that shows somebody who can go out there and get it done and doesn't need to have all of these superstar level players. It's like, okay, these are the cards I'm dealt. Hey, he's the Joker. He's gonna make it happen, right? So I was impressed with the in-season tournament this year. The Bucks and the Hawks. I actually enjoyed that. I saw competitive basketball, believe it or not. It's sad that the commissioner has to resort to these gimmicks to get the players to go out here and compete. But yeah, I would say those four right there are the positives that I can take away from this season.
All right. None of the above super chat somebody. Please put who you super chat to, just so they have an idea where it's going.
Thanks for coming over from the other show.
Yep. And thanks for coming over from, I guess, AOH and Robin show. But it says Speem looks like he just finished directing. There you go. All right. AOH, what is the good over the last 2024? Do you have something positive to say about the NBA?
Speem's facial hair and the glasses. It's good. I like it. Good job. You've improved. I couldn't hear Nick today from all of Robin's yelling in the previous show, which was good because I know his takes are always terrible. Today I didn't even hear it, so I can't comment on it. I'm trying to be positive. Just move on from me. I mean, I complimented Speem Engine for Christ's sakes.
This is your fault trying to be positive. You see what happens. It's not all my fault.
I'm prepared for the year in review remark. I want credit for saying that Rob Pelinka was who was going to be blamed this year before the season started. And I called it, and it's now they're talking about it.
Thrilling commentary in respect to the good. Robin, Sports and Fitness Rants. What's one good thing over the last 2024? Last year of 2024 for the NBA?
Well, I mean, I think we can look at this a couple of different ways. If I look at it as far as a content creator, it's been fantastic, man. It's been absolutely fantastic because everything that I talk about, all the predictions that I make as far as LeBron James, the NBA, where it's been going over the last several years, the disconnect between the players and the fans, the disconnect between the broadcasters, the analysts, the way the game is played. I've been on the money with this stuff. So as far as we're concerned, I guess it's been great. Everything's been going great. LeBron James didn't win the championship last year. I doubt he's going to win again this year. He didn't win an MVP last year. I don't see him win an MVP this season. I don't see him make an all-defensive team at all last year or this year's season at all. I don't see anything happen. I don't see LeBron James being the number 2 best player in the league right now, like Kane and Jeff Smith said before the season. And like I said, he was going to be 100% wrong about that. So everything that we've been talking about has been on the money. So as far as a content creator, man, I could point to all kinds of things. But if, as a fan, absolutely not. There's nothing to point to. This is what we're talking about. But let's point to the Olympics. The Olympics was great, right? The USA won the gold medal. So I think that was good. They had some struggles there. They scared us a couple of times there. Steph Curry had to essentially save LeBron James. But at the end of the day, the USA won the gold medal. So if we want to point to something, we can point to that. But by and large, like I said, overall, the game has been suffering. So we talk about I mean, look what Nick just said. Nick pointed to his own individual, personal, thing that he had with his team and why he thought that the Mavericks they made to the finals. So that's great. But the NBA is still suffering, is it not? So I think as far as a fan goes, the NBA there's really nothing for me to point to and say that this is great. Like people will be, oh, you should be happy the Knicks got Karl Anthony Towns. I'm not happy about that. Yeah, the Knicks look okay, but the Knicks looked okay last season too, man. What I want to see is Karl Anthony Towns in the postseason, man. That's why he's there. He's not there to help the Knicks win 55 games or something like that or make number 2 seed. He's there for them to go do something in the postseason, man. So, yeah, I'll be happy about the Knicks not being the Knicks, as usual. But, yeah, man, it's really nothing to point to, man.
All right, Mr. Moss, what's the good over the last 2024?
For me, it's been the Houston Rockets and the OKC Thunder. 2 teams that have kind of bought in and play the game the right way. They're 2 top defensive teams. I like the way SGA goes about operating in his business the right way. No elite help, but still winning games. Still, motoring on. No excuses. A young team. So that's been surprising and a good thing for me. And then I'm a diehard Rockets fan, and so what Ime's done up there in Houston. Getting that young team to buy in, I have to appreciate that. And on a personal note, I do a lot of traveling to different NBA arenas and stadiums. And so I've been to a lot of stadiums this year, and so to see these NBA teams up close and personal, that's been a highlight for me. But I can't stress enough, you don't see young teams like OKC and Houston, respect the game and play the game the right way. From a defensive standpoint, the offense will come. And so for me, that's been the 2 highlights for me.
Awesome. Jay, Scapatek, what is the good of
Well, no one really other than Mr. Moss listened to you. You guys need to work on your listening abilities. No one said anything good other than Mr. Moss. And of course, Mr. Moss then steals my good, but I'm going to just expound upon it a bit because I want my damn credit, Dart, because I sat on this same exact panel on the preview show, and I said at the time I said SGA would win the MVP. I think Jokic is maybe threatening that prediction this year, and I also said that the Oklahoma City Thunder were going to be the best team in the NBA this year and easily win the NBA championship. That was before the season even began. And it really, to me, wasn't difficult to see coming. They were the second best team in the NBA last year in net differential. They lead the NBA right now in net differential, better even than the Cavs, who have 1 fewer loss. But think this over. When you look at SRS rating and net differential, Oklahoma City is already right now the best team in the NBA. And they're doing it without basically their second best player in Chet Holmgren, who's been out hurt with a broken hip for like a month and a half. So to me, the Thunder they're a budding dynasty. I called them this before the season began because they're just so good defensively. Everyone wants to talk about what a great 2-way player Shea is. He's like the 4th best defender on the team when all players are healthy. That's why this team is the best defensive team in the NBA. And to me, they're going to have, 3 perennial kind of all-stars moving forward. I think Chet Holmgren is going to be an all-star for years to come. Obviously not this year with the injury and the amount of games he's going to miss. I think Williams he's going to be an all-star this year. He's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on 48%. Shea obviously is a perennial MVP candidate and first-team performer. So I really like what I've seen in a middle league where I criticize a lot. I denigrate a lot. The Thunder are kind of leading this charge of the non-super team era. I think they're helping to squash the super teams because they're doing it the right way, and I think they're going to be dominating the league for many years to come. And I think it's going to be a fun look. The Cavaliers are having a hell of a season, but push comes to shove, even with home court advantage, I don't know that they're going to be able to get over Boston in a 7-game series. So I still am looking forward to a Celtics Thunder NBA championship series this year. And I think that's just going to be a pretty tasty little matchup. And I'll be rooting for the Thunder because Boston kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't really like the way. I don't know that I call them a super team, but they came together inorganically, in my opinion. And that team is absolutely loaded. On paper, probably the best team of this century. I'd say they rival the Golden State Warriors, and a lot of those pieces came from outside of their organization and drafting.
Oh my God. The most fucking pathetic roster in the league you just compared to. Jesus Christ.
Now, I said this century, guys. Again, unclog the ears, use your listening mechanisms. This century would be post 2000. Okay?
They got one addition that was noteworthy.
Shaq, Kobe, Lakers, and then who else? Who's better than the Warriors? That Kevin Durant Warriors team. I mean,
the only thing interesting that happened in the last decade was Kevin Durant. Everything else has been them dealing with a criminal who hurts the team more than helps it. A guy who, thank Christ, finally left. By the way, Nick, I can't wait until Clay goes 0 for 10 in the playoffs for you. But I have a serious question for Scap really quick. In the age of this instant gratification, if the Thunder don't get it done this year, do you really think they're going to continue forward and say we'll get it done next year and not blow it up?
Yeah, I think so, because the team is still insanely young. When you look at their top 10 rotational players, so their top 10 guys getting over whatever, like 12 minutes a night, all of them are 27 years or younger, other than Alex Caruso, who's only 30. So they're so young. I think you're right. This is an era of instant gratification where it has to be right now this year. But if you go back and look over the history of the NBA, generally young teams need to discover how to win. They need to learn how to lose before they know how to win. Last year, I thought they outplayed the Mavericks for the majority of that 7-game series, but the Mavericks, they had been there before. They had veterans. They just closed games out that Oklahoma City didn't know how to. I think maybe this year is the last year I think that you might be able to get Oklahoma City. I don't think so. I think they're going to win it this year. But if they lose, it wouldn't necessarily shock me. But I think that, yes, they're just going to remain the course. They have all these young two-way assets locked up for several years to come. Good luck to the rest of the NBA after this year. If you want a title, go get it this year, because I don't think there's going to be many to be had on Oklahoma City's watch for several years to come after this one.
Everything you said about the players is correct. Unfortunately, it's not the players you have to worry about. It's bad decision-making from the franchise.
Yeah, but the Thunder are a very well-run organization. They have been for several years.
Okay.
I mean, one of the best. So I don't see them panicking and going in a different direction because look, they're going to, at least at worst, they're going to be a Final Four team. I don't know who I see beating them in the West in a 7-game series ultimately, but at very worst, they'll be in the West Conference Finals, which will be one step up from last year. They lost to the Mavericks in the semis last year. So if they get to the West Finals and lose, all right, that's a stepping stone year. To me, I'm looking over. I mean, the West is very tightly bunched. It's very competitive. I mean, when you look at the 11 and 12 teams right now are Sacramento and Phoenix. Like that's how deep the Western Conference is as a whole. So, I mean, there's a lot of good teams, but team for team in a 7-gamer, like I don't really know who can defeat Oklahoma City this season. Maybe coming out of the East, maybe Cleveland or Boston, but the way that Oklahoma City defends, I just see them winning it this year, but we'll see.
It's crazy to me when we talk about young teams that people don't really, in my opinion, the Mavericks are a young team outside of Kyrie Irving. I mean, drafted Derek Lively. Luka is younger than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander technically. PJ Washington is the same age as SGA. It's just like, the Mavericks are going to have a good core for the next 5+ years as well. So obviously Luka's got to stay healthy. That's the big X factor for us. But I think
they're not as good though as the Thunder.
Didn't you just say they beat them last year?
That was last year, and the
And the
Thunder,
Mavericks
Thunder
only
had-
got better. The Mavericks
The
only
Thunder-
got better.
the
The
Thunder
Thunder did not
only
get
got
better.
better. The Thunder's
The Thunder-
maturation process alone makes them better, but they added Hartenstein and Caruso in the offseason.
Hey,
And
hey,
the
hey,
West
got
Dark.
worse. It didn't get better. The West
I
got
don't-
worse. Let's
those
be
guys
real
are not
here.
X
The
factors.
West got worse, man. The Lakers
Dark,
are the fifth
I
seed in
have
the West.
breaking. I have
Let's be
breaking
real,
D'Lo
man.
news
There are no
that I
great
definitely
teams. There are
didn't
no
see in
good
the
teams,
chat.
man. What are we talking about here? You just spent all this time talking about OKC, Scap, and then you turn around and say, well, I don't know if they'll be able to beat Boston, though. What does that even mean? Who's the best player on the court in that series? Who's the best player on the court? Is it SGA or is it Tatum?
In my opinion, it's SGA.
There you go. So then they should be the team that should be able to beat the Celtics, man. So once again, who did the Celtics beat during their run? You talked about them being the best team since the worst. Who the hell did they beat? They're not, to me, the Celtics are not proven, man. Are they a good team? Yeah, they're a good team. But put them historically ranked? Absolutely not, man. Once again, they beat no one on their route to the championship last year. I'm not impressed, man, at all with any of the teams that are in the NBA over the last 5 seasons, man. There are no great teams. When you mention the guys needing to develop, guys historically need to develop. Why do they need to historically develop? Because there are other great teams that are in their way. That's why they have to develop. We're missing that very key point here.
All right,
Robin,
let's,
again, you just continue to not listen to anything I say.
Everything you said,
you just take everything, as you do week in and week out, you take everything ridiculously out of context.
Yep.
I'm not saying Boston's better than the 86 Celtics. I'm not saying they're the 90s Bulls. I'm saying this century, when you look at post-2000
Who did
on,
they beat, Scap? Answer that question.
they won a championship. They're trying to defend
Who
a
did they
championship
beat, though,
this
to
year.
be ranked historically? Who did they beat in route?
Robin, last
Who won?
year,
They beat nobody. Just
Robin,
say it. Just say
Robin,
it. Say
can I
it.
finish? You're
No,
asking
answer
me a question.
Answer
You're
it.
asking me a question and then yelling over me and not letting me answer it.
Down the rabbit hole.
Can I
Break
answer
the
your
D'Lo
question?
Trade news. Break this D'Lo
Last
trade
year-
news. Somebody break the D'Lo trade news, please. Let's go right into
Last
that.
year, can I just answer the question real quick? Last
Yeah.
year, the Boston Celtics won. I don't like them. I've crushed them on my channel. I've only been on YouTube for like a year and a half, 2 years. I've destroyed this team every step of the way for 2 years because of their pathetic mentality and the fact they haven't won more. But the simple matter of the fact is last year, they won 67 games. They had the 5th best net differential in NBA history. They have 2 elite, high-level, perennial all-stars and guys that are all NBA caliber in Jaylen Brown and Tatum. They have Derek White, who is an elite third option, if you're even going to put him as a third option, because they also have Drew Holiday. And quite frankly, Porzingis is actually their third option when he's healthy on the floor. The team is absolutely stacked from a talent perspective. And when you add in their 67 wins, their 5th best net differential last year, and the fact that they won a title and lost 3 or 4 games the whole run, yes, I'm sorry. You might not like it. I don't like it either, Robin. I hated seeing that team win. But they're still a great team.
Who did they beat? You fool, answer the question, man. They beat nobody. You talked all about how good the Celtics are. You
Hey,
answer a
can I
simple
intervene?
question, man.
Can I-
I let
can
you
I-
talk,
Let's.
man,
I'm gonna.
and you
I'm
didn't
gonna.
answer a
I'm
simple
gonna.
question.
I'm gonna
Get
ring
outta
this
here.
in. We've been on this topic for a while. Let's move on. We'll start off with negativity now. And since AOH didn't have a great positive thing, what is the bad of 2024 for you,
I
AOH?
complimented people. I mean, that takes a lot out of me. You need to acknowledge when I compliment people. And you look very handsome today, Dart, by the way. And Mr. Moss, nice to meet you. Haven't interacted
man.
with you before.
Yes, sir.
This
For sure,
guy.
man. You too.
This guy,
Hey,
he's got
AOH,
a very calm demeanor.
person, just so you know. I know
He's
you
got
get
the pipes, though. This guy should be on TV. So am I being negative or positive now? What do I?
You're being negative.
Oh,
What's the bad of 2024?
well, we see things that keep happening, like teams that we should be excited about. Do you really take the Timberwolves seriously when you have a clown like Anthony Edwards as the face of that team? You don't know what day he's just gonna. I don't know. I mean, you would like to think that the West would be great. I hear people talking about the Lakers being contenders again, and they're a freaking shit show. Unfortunately, it's things are bad enough to where if the referees do enough and the West keeps falling apart enough, maybe they will get somewhere. So we've got the Thunder, who I think we have to take pretty seriously. And wait, is that it? I don't. I'm sorry, Nick. I guess Dallas, but I can't see Dallas getting further. I think they're going to go backwards this year, one round. And then who else? Oh, You know what? Thank you for wearing that shirt, Mr. Moss, because this is tragic. All I see is Bronny James and LeBron James on everything being fed to me on YouTube. I haven't seen a damn thing about the Rockets and their fantastic season. I haven't seen a damn thing about it. Tell us more about it. I'm going to hand it off. That was me being negative, and I actually have exhausted my negativity. I'd like to hear something great about the Rockets. That'd be fun.
Well, they're young. They're young and they defend. And most young teams don't do that. Ime got this team playing hard on both ends of the court. They don't shoot the ball well, but they compete. You know what I'm saying? And that goes into some of my negativity, right? Teams that need to be highlighted aren't being highlighted, right? The media is still trying to push these aging superstars. Kevin Durant.
Bronny scored 15 in the G League, bro.
I can care less
scored
about that.
15 in the G League. You don't want to talk about that?
Nah, that doesn't excite me. Steph Curry, right? These guys need to go away. You know what I'm saying? Fast, right? Let's talk about some of these young guys, right? Your Tatums, your SGAs, your Alpine Sagoons, guys like that. And so, the media is still trying to push these guys in our face on a daily basis. The media, has no accountability. And here's what makes it. Listen, I'm in Sacramento. It's a, it's a shit show out here, right? If I can say that. They just fired Mike Brown, right? But Darren Fox, a fake leader here in Sac, right? A diva of the highest order, right? You go watch that Detroit Pistons play, right? Mike Brown made it very clear: stay attached, and you're in La La Land, up 3. A 2 can't beat you, Darren. Stay attached to Ivy. And then Darren comes after the game and says, it doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference. Again, you got players not being held accountable. You got organizations like Sacramento. You let Mike Brown run a practice, address the media. He's on his way to the team flight, and you call him and you let him go over the phone because you don't have the balls to address him face to face. Listen, man. And then we wonder why this league is going down the drain, right? Get these old guys out of here. Listen, it's time to rebuild and retool. And the main thing is this: these players need to be held accountable. Why is it always the coach's fault, right? The coaches aren't shooting. Listen, I'm not saying that coaches don't take blame, because they do. But come on, you know what I'm saying? I watched Kevin Durant last night. You're 7 feet tall and you think you're a point guard? Why did you go get Tyus Jones for? Let him run the offense. You know what I'm saying? Mike, what are you doing? And so again, sometimes, less is more. And so for me, the negativity is the players not recognizing when their time is up, and the media is not helping us.
The Kings are such a great example. The Kings are such a great example because a year ago we were all supposed to be getting excited about the Kings. It's like the talk was about Sabonis and Fox, and Malik Monk was doing great once he got out from under LeBron's shadow. And here we are now. We're seeing De'Aaron Fox being a diva, and once again we have a team that was on the rise, and you can't like them anymore. Just like that.
Last point, if it's okay, just last point. You let Doug Christie, when Mike Brown was there, fellas, was the 4th in line on the assistant, right? Totem pole. He's a head coach now. You skip over guys on that bench who have championship experience. Doug Christie is a stooge for the ownership down there in Sacramento. Vlade Divac sits next to the ownership. I'm a season Kings ticket holder, so I see all this stuff. I cover the team, on a smaller schedule, on a smaller scale. It's bad business, right? And so, come on, Doug. Stop it. Listen, it's a slap in our face. And, I always use this phrase, we need to get back to old school NBA analysis, and we need to get back to old school media, right? Because these things aren't going to be talked about, on a higher scale. And so that's why I appreciate this panel. You know what I'm saying? But that's my negativity.
Okay, real fast. Let me go through some of these super chats. The Say What Now says, how are the Celtics not proven when they win a chip and bring back most of the roster? I'm gonna side with Scap. I think that Celtics team for recent history is on paper pretty good. But
recent history, exactly.
Yeah, recent history.
25 years. Since 2000. Yeah, I guess.
There's two sides of the argument.
Still ain't answered my question yet.
Did they go front to back so well because the NBA is not as good, or were they really that good that they had such a good run front to back, right? So it's
When
just
I said
depending
they're
on
not
what side
proven, when
wanna
you look
take.
at the teams they beat, it's not necessarily the teams they beat. Look at the injuries to those teams. They were all missing
I agree.
either their best player or
I
their
agree
best
with you.
player missed all the games. So what I'm
I've done
saying is they
videos
didn't beat
about it,
anybody
Robin.
during that run. That's
I'm
what
more
saying. You
well
guys
aware
can't
of it than
dispute
you,
that.
bro. Trust me. I
What?
know exactly who they play. I'm more well aware of it than you. I can tell you all the teams they
So then
played,
name 'em.
all
Then
the
name
players
'em.
that missed, all the players in the
Then
league.
name
I
the
know.
teams, Gap. Why are you
I
still
know,
talking?
Robin. I know it all. I
He
trust me.
knows.
I get it, bro. I understand what you're saying.
Now
But
we're
look,
getting, now I know,
look.
now you're broing me now. I know, because you know I'm right. I know.
But
You know
look,
he's right.
I know.
just like
They're
Batman
not
tells
proven. They
Rachel
beat
Dawes in
nobody and went to
Batman
games.
Begins.
All the guys
It's
you
not
mentioned,
who I
Kristaps
am
Porzingis,
underneath.
who is he?
It's what I do that
Tatum is
defines
nothing.
me.
How many times
Okay?
did
They won a
Defines
title,
you.
my guy.
the Celtics lose to the Miami Heat when they were the
The
favorite
Miami
to
Heat.
win? How many times did they lose as the favorite to Celtics? They haven't proven
bunch of
anything,
times.
man.
They
beat
still won
nobody
last year, Robin.
in a game
They
with
won a
nobody.
title.
No
And they're
teams.
going to be right there this year.
Great for
If
them.
they defend the
Fantastic.
title
We're not
this
great
year-
historically. That's the whole point here.
Kind of that's what's
Okay,
happening.
let's get to the next super
Once
chat.
again, I'm on the money.
Say what
You're
now
never
also
on the
does-
money, Robin.
Yeah, I'm always on the money, Scap.
Always.
Say what now says in order to win a championship you have to be great or good teams hands down.
Yup, yeah.
I agree. You have to
Yup.
be the greatest of that
Yup,
time.
you got to beat the teams in your era,
You
right?
have to be the best that year. That is
Yup,
facts.
you got to beat the
That is
best
facts.
teams in your era, right?
Also, say what now says, oh, and they won a chip without Kyrie, who was probably the most unguardable player in the history of the league. I don't particularly agree with that.
Who, Kyrie? I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that either.
Say
Hey,
what now
can I,
says for $5 super chat though.
I think these are coming through on my channel, and I want to give this person a little love by starting a Boston Celtics conversation. You guys have mentioned how good they are on paper, and they are stacked. Are they boring to watch?
Hey, who is Ted
despite
Lasso?
that
Who's
roster? Are they, and despite how good they are they boring to watch?
Shoot 53s a game.
No,
The thing that annoys me the most about Robin fundamentally is that he forces me to defend things that I don't even want to defend. I hate this Celtics team. I hate the way they're put together. I don't like many of the I don't like the mentality of Tatum. I don't
Yeah,
like
I'm just saying they're
I
not
don't
great
like what they did to
historically.
Ime Udoka.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
like anything
That's
about
it.
them.
so
They're
Scap,
not great historically. I didn't say you were a fan of them. I'm saying, everybody in the chat, Sports and Fitness Ranch is saying the Boston Celtics that won last year are not a top 5, top 10 all-time great team. I'm saying they're not one of the
Agreed.
historic great teams.
okay,
When
hey,
you're comparing them
hey.
to the 2017 Warriors, you're putting them in that realm. I don't believe they're in that realm. That's it.
Robin, let me ask
my
Scap.
bad.
Let me ask Scap very specific. Are they boring to watch?
I mean, I don't particularly like watching them. They shoot probably 45 3-point shots a game. Like, I mean, no, it's not compelling basketball. But like when you look, I mean, did I even mention Sam Hauser? I'm pretty sure he's probably going to win sixth man of the year, like overwhelmingly. Right. I mean, the team, they're just loaded. Like I hope they don't win this year. I think Oklahoma City will beat them, but I mean, a lot of people are talking up Cleveland now. Finally, I don't see the Cavaliers even. They're going to have home court because the Celtics just F around. They lost what 3 of their last 3 out of their last 5 games. Putrid losses because that's what the Celtics do. And the Cavs are going to have the one seed in the East. They're going to have to go through Cleveland to do it. But ultimately, I just think that assortment of talent, I just can't deny it. And I mean, if they win a second title this year, I'm not saying they will, but if they do, unfortunately, I don't want to do it. But the conversations are going to begin with how good the team is from a historical standpoint. One is not enough, Robin. I'm not saying they're historically great, but if they do win another one this year, back to back with this loaded assortment of talent, I'm just telling you that the conversations are going to be there.
Wisdom Inaki for 1,000 Nigerian. I don't know if they're dollars. Anyway, y'all are what the Nigerian money's called. Anyway, y'all are part of the problem. You should be talking about Wembanyama and Edwards. Wemby's a top 10 player of the season at 20.
Edwards.
I did talk about Edwards. Edwards is part of the problem.
Edwards!
How dare you praise Edwards? How dare you get on the bandwagon with Edwards? Are you kidding me? Stop it. And Wembanyama, a freak, taking
He said he don't
3-point
want to
shots.
dunk because it hurts
Yeah, he
his
just
hand.
shot 10 plus
You
threes
want
a
us
few
to
games
praise
ago.
that
Not
guy?
impressed. Wemby just shot 10 plus threes a few games ago.
Anthony
Out of
Edwards is
order, out of
averaging
step.
like
Don't
9 or
like
11 threes a game. He's part of the
Right.
problem,
Don't
not
like it.
us. We're not
Hey,
part of the problem. We're
is this
holding
a
these guys
LeBron fan?
accountable for the way they're playing the game.
Is this a
Anthony
LeBron
Edwards is
fan?
being lazy. He should be playing his game. He's one of the great athletes in the game. So he should be playing that athletic game. You shouldn't be telling us your hands hurting from dunking. You shouldn't be shooting 9 threes a game. You should be playing an overall game. But instead, you become lazy. And that's why the Minnesota Timberwolves are not inconsistent. Everybody wants to blame Julius Randle and the Karl Anthony Towns. They want to put no responsibility on Anthony Edwards. Come on, man. Stop it.
Nah, Robin, that's bullshit, man. I can't just let. No, go ahead.
Yo, Victor Wembanyama shot 16 threes on Christmas Day, man. Me and my parents, my family, we was watching that game, yo. He shot 16 threes in that game. And I'm not knocking Victor Wembanyama, but you're part of the problem when you're taking that many threes. You're taking away from your overall game, man. You should be banging down low. And the
When
Spurs
somebody wants
lost
to
that
pass
game
blame.
for me, in my opinion, because of the kinds of shots he was taking towards the end of that game, man. You were jacking up these threes.
When somebody
All right.
wants to pass blame like that guy just did and blame us that we're part of the problem, I got to assume that they're LeBron people. And therefore, your LeBron boy said that the league is taking too many threes. And yet you just defended Wembanyama, who has no business taking threes and taking a lot of threes. So which side are you on? You know, you just want to blame us. Well, what do you support? Do you support your boy LeBron James, who says the league is taking too many threes, while simultaneously telling us we should get behind a freak in the paint of Wembanyama who's choosing to take threes? Which one is it?
Don't forget, LeBron said that. Then he takes 10 threes the next game. So I mean,
Yep.
you know, don't.
He shot 12.5% the next game from three.
Ronell N is 15. I have no idea what sort of money that is. It's weird looking. Anyway,
Crypto, I think, or something. That's weird.
yeah, I don't know what it is, but cool stuff anyway. Thank you, Ronell N. It says, sorry, but you can't make comparisons anymore. A point from the 90s is worth 2 to 3 points of this era. It's practice points, not game points. Yeah, I mean, a point's a point. I mean, it's a corny point, I guess, to your point. How many times can I say point in a sentence? Speam, what we're gonna go to you and the guys in the top row.
Real quick. That donation is from Israel. It's an Israeli shekel.
Well, actually, I forgot. I haven't.
always quick on the draw, man. He always.
What's the exchange rate on?
No idea. Well, yeah, it's an Israeli shekel.
All right, I'm going to do my good because I forgot to do that. The Sixers are actually starting to do good lately. I think they're 7 of the last 10 games they've won or something like that because they've been abysmal. Paul George.
Hey, Dart, are y'all going to make the playoffs?
Let me finish my good. No. But I guess I'll transition into my bad. Paul George is not doing very he still is not doing very well. And I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. Anyway, Speam, what's the good for you over 2024?
I thought I was allowed to do further bad. Is that not the case? I'm going to.
Bad, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
This is telling of all of our listening skills.
No, okay, I'm gonna start positive. Whoever in the chat said we're old heads yelling at the clouds, I can't disagree with that. That might be the funniest thing I've ever seen. Also, shout out to Sheriff of Patty's, especially if they're an It's Always Sunny fan. They were, I think, the first ones to break the D'Lo trade news. So I didn't, or at least in this chat. So I didn't want to, I want to give them credit. But is anybody on this panel familiar with what's called the strawman fallacy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Purposely misrepresent somebody.
Yes. Exactly. So I wasn't familiar with it, and I've been consistently looking for, like, when we talk about LeBron fans and they subtly shift the argument, right, to make themselves seem correct. I'm just going to read the definition real quick. Okay. This occurs when an individual distorts or oversimplifies an opponent's argument, making it easier to attack or
Yeah.
refute instead of addressing the original argument. So I'll use a real world example. A teacher suggests spending more time on math and the parent accuses them of not valuing literacy, right? Goes to the extreme. I'll use a basketball reference. Haters are just jealous, claiming all criticism of LeBron stems from jealousy or bias, which avoids addressing valid critiques of his career decisions. So I've been searching for this term like last like 3 or 4 seasons, and that's the bad. That's where we are with arguments. There are no more points that are argued directly. It is almost, if I had to give it a percentage, maybe 96% strawman fallacy in terms of the argument. I think that's one of the biggest bads because I think it poisons the game. It certainly poisons the media's coverage of the game. And, it's something nobody really talks about. So
I got a good example.
Yeah, I got one
like
too.
Whenever you say Jordan has more championships than LeBron, and then their response is, "Oh, so
Bill Russell.
championships mean everything?" And it's like, no, that's not what I said. I'm just making this comparison here. Also, Scap, you have Ted Lasso in your chat, who's just spamming some R. Kelly thing over and over and over again.
Hey, I'll give you another one.
Hang on real quick. I know absolutely nothing about technology, streaming, computers, or anything. Can you walk me through how to block him, and I will.
Go to your channel, go to your chat. There should be a 3-dot thing for you to click, like block or report or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
right,
so Spink,
Nick, what about your good? This show has gone off the rails.
My good was the Mavericks making the finals last year. And,
yeah, we're on the bad.
Yeah, so the bad,
including me, the bad. My bad.
The bad is the absolute
terrible.
disrespect the Mavericks are getting. No, I'm just kidding. Although I do feel that way, but I would think the bad is, I think the coping over the ratings from what we would call the other side, or however you want to frame that. I think the coping and the excuses for like the ratings to me has been like the one bad thing, right? No one that is, let's just call him a big fan of today's game, right? The other side, however you want to put that. Nobody wants to say, maybe we are getting this wrong. Maybe this is not good for the game, right? Everything is like that one guy. It's like, again, or kind of how Speem said, if you criticize, you're just an old head yelling into the clouds. And we're kind of looking at the ratings as like a real world objective standard of the state of the game, right? And everything is just like a cope of, oh, well, it's social media and it's this, and none of it is ever just, even Mr. Moss said, right? No one's really holding the players accountable, and we're not having like an honest discussion about where do we want the game to go? What do we like? What can we get rid of, right? And the bad is just the cope and the excuses of people just not wanting to address some of the deep issues, right? So that is my bad. I know that one's kind of easy, but specifically it is the cope from the other side, or the unwillingness to come to the table and say, hey, you guys are right about this one or two thing, but I think we got this one or two thing right. And there's no honest discussion, I feel, from the other side. I'm sure they feel that way about us too, though. So,
good guy. What about the bad for you?
Okay, real quick, Dart. I wanted to piggyback on something Speen mentioned about the strawman fallacy. Here's another one, it's funny when I hear it, right? Because if we're talking about, let's take my second greatest player of all time, Kobe being Bryant, and I don't know, Scap was the one. Shout out to him. Because he brought this forward on when he was breaking down the whole Kobe LeBron thing. And it's like, okay, Kobe, amongst all the other greats, the only one to win back-to-back titles without a top 75 teammate. Granted, Curry won 2, so did Tim Duncan. They never went back-to-back. Now, when Kobe does that, watch this. So Pau Gasol's trash. How did you come to that conclusion? Because we're giving Kobe Bryant props for doing something that nobody else did, not even Michael Jordan. But the first thing that comes to your brain is Pau Gasol's trash. It drives me crazy. I just wanted to get that out. As far as the bad, I gotta piggyback off of Mr. Moss. The league wants to promote the old dogs. Y'all know something that that's very I would say ironic in this whole issue. They'll call us old heads, right? Like Sping said, we're old heads yelling in the cloud, blah 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 blah. Got it, cool. Well, why is BSPN keep promoting their old guys? LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. I mean, why is Jokic not getting the same praise and adulation, right? Like Mr. Moss said, why are the Houston Rockets, the way they're playing, why are they not getting the same praise and adulation? It's like, no, you guys keep promoting the old heads, but then if we're talking about basketball in a particular way that you don't like, now we're called old heads. I'm like, I just find that very funny. But the bad, aside from ESPN steady promoting their old players, they're not old heads though, but we are. It's just the style of play. I mean, when I watched Boston when they played the Hawks and they lost, I was literally counting every time they came down and took a three. Like, I didn't even count the layups. I didn't count the dunk. Just every three. I'm just looking like, okay, boom, you got an open shot at the top of the key right here at the elbow. Hey, all you got to do is 1-2 dribble pull up. You got a good bucket. No, you guys want to settle for threes. I'm like, wait a minute. This is what the league has come to? Everybody just shot jacking threes? Like, you don't have the Utah Jazz, like, the pick and roll with the weak side pin down actions. You don't have any of that. You don't have the Spurs ball movement where everybody touches the ball and essentially capitalizing on your mistakes. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about the Spurs system. I mean, we could go to Golden State now. I can watch them because they still run a modicum of an offense with those Princeton cuts, but everybody else is just like threes. Like Ant-Man said, shout out to AOH. He was actually hooping last year. Now he's coming down shooting 15 threes a game. Like, bro, are you just going to like reduce yourself now to a shot jacker? I mean, I've seen you play in the post. I've seen you hit mid-range, much like Jason Tatum. I'm like, wait a minute. Jason Tatum does all this Kobe, idolize Kobe. Why are you shooting all these threes? Kobe Bryant wasn't shooting all these threes. Why are you shooting all these threes, right? I could go on. I don't want to take up anybody else's time, but yeah, this whole analytical basketball is just driving me crazy. But to be fair, I'm going to give the Pup Cup their just due this year. I did enjoy watching Giannis battle it out with the Atlanta Hawks, and they didn't open up the champagne. Thank God. Somebody has common sense. So that's my take on that.
Real fast, I want to say something. So for everyone on the panel, please, if try not to yell over each other. Let one person on the mic at a time. Try to be considerate of everyone else. I know that sometimes we can get passionate, but let's try to be able to let's give the people the ability to understand what's being said, even if there's a debate going on. All right, Robin, I don't think you did your bad. Did you do your bad?
I'm not gonna say anything now. I mean, my goodness, I thought we was having a show, and now you over here threatening us and stuff. My bad, man. Damn, I thought we was good.
I didn't threaten anybody. I said, please just let's try not to overtalk everybody.
I've never even cursed on this channel. Listen, all right. Let's be very clear here when we talk about the bad, man. Listen, I never know what I'm going to say when I come on here, all right? I don't write things down. I'm not as organized as everybody else. You guys know my channel, man. I don't got videos flashing or highlights. I don't got fancy clips and all this cool editing. I ain't cool with that. I ain't gonna do all that stuff. It's literally me. It's literally me talking about basketball, man. So once again, what I'm getting from everybody here is when you're talking about the straw man, what I'm talking where that comes from is a lack of what? Education. A lack of education and a lack of knowing the historical perspectives and the historical context that we're always trying to allude to on these channels, on these Sunday live streams. When Daughter's always talking about these guys that you never even heard of, what is he trying to do there? He's trying to give you some historical perspective about some of these guys that are constantly being torn down now for some reason by the people that are supposed to be educating us. You guys mentioned ESPN being a problem, but why is ESPN a problem? Because they're not educating the fans on the actual historical perspectives when they're talking about these guys. So what do? They make it seem as if what's going on today is somehow so much more spectacular, but only because the guys in the past weren't great. These guys are so much better. So what I'm getting from you guys talking about the straw man, people make those arguments because they can't debate you on the facts, because they don't know the historical perspective. Why are we called old heads now? I'm 44 years old, man. You know who's old? My father is old. That's who's old. I'm not an old head. When I was growing up, anyone attached to the word old was a senior citizen, man. But why are they calling us old now? Because they were not around to talk or to have the perspective on what we keep talking about. So when they say, oh, Michael Jordan couldn't go left, oh, Michael Jordan didn't play against anybody, or this guy that, Bob Cousy couldn't dribble, this guy that, Bill Russell that, they don't know. They weren't there for this stuff. I'm giving you the perspective of the 80s and the 90s. I grew up watching this stuff. I literally watched it, man. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why I can talk about it. You fools are calling me an old head. I'm not hating on the guys today. I'm holding them to the same standard of the guys in the past, man. So once again, they refuse to be educated by our channels. They don't want to listen, so they call us haters. And that's the biggest problem right now in the NBA is, once again, when you listen to a broadcast, you get educated by these guys. When I was growing up back in the day, you listened to a game, you were educated by the broadcasters. So it trickled down. It wasn't just you watching the game or you playing the game growing up. Every aspect of the NBA, they always gave homage to the past. So I knew about the guys that I didn't see growing up. That's the facts.
Hey, wait, you're muted. You have something to say?
I know you were raising your hand, but I wasn't going to stop.
I was trying to be polite, you know. Hey, teacher,
You can't
calling me.
stop my rant.
But Dart can. Dart, you know you have the mute button, right?
I do have the mute button. The mute button's the nuke button.
Hey, to Hoops God and Speam, I just want to go back to that guy that was blaming us as part of the problem. You know what? It was once again on my YouTube feed today, a pop-up ad trying to get me to buy League Pass, and LeBron effing James and Bronny are on it. When are they ever going to realize that that's not selling? Stop putting that shit up on the screen and put Wimby and Ant-Man on there. I mean, how many viewers do you have on this show right now? And you guys want to blame us when ESPN is spending advertising money to keep showing the most washed player that we've ever seen continue to get praised? I mean, have some responsibility. Have some accountability. That's ridiculous. And I've got to share this with Speam because he wasn't on the earlier show. I've got to share with all of you guys. And it would be a Christmas gift to me if you all took a turn making fun of this guy. In my recent video, LeBron James is featured with his "Don't axe me" lines. And somebody said, and I didn't even say anything in the video, but people in the comments were talking about the way he goes out of his way to say axe is so annoying. And somebody said, how are you guys going to hate on somebody's accent? So now intentionally mispronouncing an English word in his own language is an accent. I just want you guys to comment on the extent these people are going to defend people.
Can I go real first?
Absolutely.
So I caught on to that. I mentioned something on that video about how every time he swears, it sounds like he's uncomfortable doing it. You know, he is like the bottom barrel in terms of how to code switch, because he only does that around specific audiences. Because it's like that Key and Peele handshake sketch, right? How he is around certain people, he's not the same around others. They're like, it's not, I don't know, it might be genuine to him, but it's irritating because he always sounds uncomfortable, and it just aids in his fakeness. And no, saying axe is not an accent. That's like going out of your way to say ain't or cuz, like in a text message, like C-U-Z.
Speam, he doesn't have a professional vernacular. He tries too hard. That's the problem.
Well, you know what's funny?
Right,
I posted a screenshot of Joel Embiid when he fell down, tripping over the security guard's foot, right? Because he was doing some goofy off-balance three-pointer over in the roped-off section during warm-ups. And he fell down, and he was on the ground for minutes. And I posted a screenshot. I thought it was pretty comical that these are the most skilled players in NBA's history, and these guys can't stay on their feet. But it wasn't just about him falling down. It was the fact that when these guys fall down, not just him, they fall down and they stay down. These guys never pop right back up. They're always down for minutes, rolling around. These guys never pop up. Back in the day, if you played sports, guys play sports, they fell down, they got right back up, and they ran back down the court. That never happens today. And you had people talking about, oh, well, the security guard, his foot, he stepped on his foot. You're blaming the security guard who was standing on the other side of a roped-off section doing his damn job, and you're blaming him for Joel Embiid's goofy ways? Come on, guys.
All right, let's segue to some of these super chats. Tony07 says, I know this is off topic, but why the Sacramento Kings never talk about Game 7 of the 2002 conference finals when they could have beat the Lakers, but they only shot 50% from the charity strike, or I guess stripe. Mr. Moss, I know that you.
I was there. I was there. Yeah,
awesome.
I was at the game. Game 7, the old Arco Arena. They built a new arena called Golden One here in Sac, but that's the old Arco Arena. College-like atmosphere, the cowbells. We point to Game 6 right in LA. Lakers shoot 25 plus free throws in the fourth quarter in Game 6. Vlade and Chris fouls out. You got Scott Pollard guarding Shaq. Anyways, fast forward to Game 7. The Kings blew that game. They went to overtime, but the Kings missed 15 free throws at home. And so I don't care. You know what I'm saying? We can point to Game 6, but you had a Game 7 at home. And listen, Shaq and Kobe was just too much. You got to tip your cap sometimes. But again, you had the ball in your court, Sacramento. I was at the game. One of the most iconic series in NBA history, in my eyes. And I've been to a lot of NBA games. I was right there behind the media. And they missed 15 free throws. Doug Christie misses a wide open 3-point shot. You know what I'm saying? Peja Stojakovic, one of the league's best shooters, misses a wide open 3-point shot. And so I got to blame the Kings for that. And we listen here in Sacramento, it's talked about. If you go on my channel, I interviewed Grant Napier, the guy who got fired for tweeting about Boogie Cousins, All Lives Matter, stuff like that. I interviewed him, and he talks about that game and that series and things of that nature. And he goes back to them missing 15 free throws. Listen, don't let the refs take the game out of your hands. In Game 6, the Kings had almost a 20-point lead in Game 6 on the road. You let the Lakers come back. And here's my last point, Dart. Walker guy, I forgot his first name, Asaki Walker or something like that. He hits a half-court shot. Samaki Walker. He hits a half-court shot in Game 6 that shouldn't have counted. The 24 shot clock had already expired or something like that. And so if we had to replay, that doesn't happen. But it's just that Game 7 was epic. One of the most iconic environments that I've ever been in, right? And the city was just somber. The city was, I never seen Sacramento that dead because it's right in. We assume the Kings go on and beat New Jersey, right? I think they do. And so, yeah, it's a classic series with an ultimate failure, right? And the Kings
Mr. Moss, quick question.
Yes.
Is that the game where Robert Horry hit the shot, or was that Game 5?
No. Game 4 was when Horry hits the shot. Game 5 was when Mike Bibby comes off the pick and roll with Chris, and he hits a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Game 6, Lakers winning back in LA, and then Game 7, they blow it, and Chris and Vlade and those guys, and Doug and Bobby and Paige and those guys, Hito, you had Gerald Walsh in that squad, Mike Bibby, they played great that series. But when the moment got too big, and Durant talks about this on his channel often, certain guys have a certain era where they want that. They want that. And Kobe and Shaq wanted that, right? And the Kings couldn't muster up, what's required in the moment. And when you miss 15 free throws at home, I have to blame you. I can't blame the refs.
Wisdom Inaki, I guess this one, I'm not sure if it's for Robin, but if Robin, you want to respond to this. It says, I'm not since he calls you out. He says, I'm not a LeBron fan. Y'all claim you hate Bron, but you talk about him a lot at 40. It's annoying. Sports and fitness, you shout a lot without making sense. What do you have to say about that?
Once again, like I mentioned, I always tell these people, man, you guys can't do what I do. My channel, anyone that knows my channel, hey, listen, go do me a favor. Go look at my fitness videos. I got a lot of information in my fitness videos, man. It'll do you a lot of good, man. I know a lot about a lot of things, man. Once again, man, I got the facts. My channel is nothing but the facts. It's literally me on camera, no editing, no none of that stuff, no scripted, none of that. I'm literally talking basketball. That's what my channel's about, man. So I have the facts, and you guys know the deal, man.
Hey, Dark, can I make a statement about that? Now, what he said, people claim to hate LeBron, whatever. Cool. Well, does Clutch Sports hate Michael Jordan or Nick Wright? Because they're always talking about Michael Jordan. I'm just looking at the hypocrisy because clearly it has no bounds. That's all I want to say.
Johnny Arnett is here. This happened 15 minutes ago, but he says, mod me, Scap. You need some mods you can trust. YouTube hates spammers and bots, and it can actually get your channel in trouble if you don't ban them. And Johnny Arnett, you're welcome to come back in the future as well. Scap.
I don't. Can someone explain to me what that means? I have no clue what literally
Make him a
any of that
moderator.
means. I don't know what a mod is. I don't know what how to ban them either. So can someone help me? I'm serious.
Yeah. I'll get with you offline, Scap. I'll walk you through it. But thank you, Johnny Arnett. Michael Silberg for $5. Yep. Adam Silver is all about flash marketing revenue and fake pretend, but zero honor for the game. All the problems ultimately roll down from the top. I think we're all more or less in agreement with that. But thank you, Michael Silberg, to wherever you donated. Please look at the ticker on the bottom where it says, please say who you donated to. MVF, most valuable fighter, says, thoughts on the year Cats having in New York Knicks as a whole. Do you have anything you want to briefly talk about that, Robin, since you're a Knicks guy?
No, I mean, listen, like I always say, man, I'm waiting for the postseason to get too excited to really, get hyped about the New York Knicks. But like I said, they've been playing much better basketball over the last several weeks, man. So shout out to the Knicks.
Grand Finale says, I like the over talking and arguing. Keep it going. It's not about taking the arguing away, or it's just that when it's constantly over talking, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, don't debate each other. That's, to be clear, it's just when it's 5-10 minutes of just on top of each other when you can't even hear what's going on. That's what I'm talking about.
Pause.
But
I love you, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, does anyone know?
Blue.
We were talking about media. Whatever happened to Slam Magazine? Are they still around?
Yeah, I think they are.
Wait, Nick, you're talking about Slam Magazine, who had Kobe ranked top 5 in 2018, but they keep telling us he's not top 10.
Yeah, like we were just talking about how, like, I've said this before, I don't think the NBA does a good job marketing its young talent. And I just remember, outside of like ESPN or Fox News, like the main media outlets, like where do people go other than like just kind of weird forum or boards or message boards or something, right? And I just remember like Slam back in the day would always talk about high school players, foreign players. Like it just was like cool to read about all these other things going on. Even maybe a little bit of pop culture in there. But I just feel like, where do people go to, I guess, like get outside of the mainstream news to just hear about other things going on in the league besides the main topics? I just was kind of wondering.
Do y'all hear scratchiness on your side, or is it just me?
Yeah, I hear it too.
Yeah, no, there's something.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Someone's typing. It sounds like it's not me this time.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Matt for $10 says, "Player, if you're not talking, just please mute. That would probably take away the scratchiness." I think it might have been Hoop God. Players have too much control. The game is boring when you have guys making $50 million for no effort and complaining. Traveling, gather step doesn't mean you're more skilled than the 80s and 90s. Matt for $10. Don't know where it went. It's definitely not me because YouTube demonetized me.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then I went and I don't know. I don't know why. They said it was reused content. And then I went and I did the appeal. And then they said, nope. So I don't know. Whatever.
What kind of content, Dart?
Reused.
Oh, okay.
What the hell is on YouTube that isn't reused?
That's what they said to me that time.
Yeah.
There might be an issue that we are all posting this exact same video to all of our channels. Because I know in mine, I get a lot of like there's a place where it says matched content or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all of these streams. So I don't know if maybe they think because we're all posting literally the exact same video, if like we're ripping it off of each other.
No, I tried to warn you about
streams.
this. Dart, it's your opening.
It could be the opening. I don't know.
Countdown.
But it says in the appeal that it doesn't account for intros. So they say intros that doesn't count.
Well, let me tell you, I removed I edited out your intro when I got flagged because of this show on my channel, and it removed the problem.
No, and that's what I would usually
sometimes
do.
the intro gets a copyright on it.
Because of
Yeah,
all the
it does.
Michael Jordan footage that's in it.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Yeah, it might be.
Can
Let's
I-
not get down the rabbit
Can I
hole
get
though.
piggyback off what Nick was saying real quick?
Let's just. Do you want to comment on this one, Speem? We're just trying to keep the show rolling.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes without saying. There's no, like, all these contracts are guaranteed, and even the incentive-based ones, they're still making, 20, 30 mil a year. So it's like, yeah, it's incentive-based, but what do you really miss out on? If you play less than 65 games and you don't get X pointless, award. So there's no real consequences. AOH, I know you refer to that a lot. I don't think there is a travel anymore. I think there's just dribbling and running, and then a judgment's made based on who the player is and how the ref feels at the time. So I think it's just going to get worse. And that's what I was going to say. And real quick, just off Nick saying, even researching for this show, when you try to just Google NBA information, it's all like above board mainstream stuff on YouTube, on Google, all of it. They make it so difficult to find information outside of like StatMuse or a website like that, unless it's LeBron or Bronny James news. But I don't want to go back down that road. I want to respect your moderation, sir.
Michael
Yeah,
Silberg.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Michael Silberg. We got 2 more of these, and then, or I guess 3 more. $50. Wow. Somebody got $50. Michael Silberg says David Stern had a balance between integrity in the game and marketing. Adam Silver is 99.9% marketing, and the deterioration of the game is the result. Scap, do you want to comment on this one?
That says $5.
No. There's another one
one.
that came up that's $50. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, last week when we were talking about Adam Silver to me is one of the preeminent issues. He's maybe the biggest problem that you can put your finger on, because look, the coach typically gets the blame for teams' underperformances. The star player typically gets the blame as well. And Adam Silver is the face of the NBA. Like, whoever you want to talk about, whatever players that are being marketed, he's typically the one making these decisions, as well as rules changes and so forth that are litigating out defense and creating a game style of which we see now. It's one thing that comes to mind was an interview recently that Kevin Garnett did with Adam Silver. I think it was maybe like a year or 2 ago. So pretty recent, where Adam Silver essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, talks about how the game was gross to watch in the late 90s and into the 2000s, that it was too much of like a prodding game, too physical, that physicality was taking away from the skill of players. And he highlighted Steph Curry as a specific example, saying that Steph Curry likely wouldn't be anywhere near as good, again, paraphrasing, if he was forced to play in the parameters of the 90s and into the early 2000s because of the physicality. Well, that's a Steph Curry problem, in my opinion. Like, that wasn't a style of play problem. Like, people do want to see great offense. People do want to see players putting up these great point totals, but they want to see it in the face of good defense. They don't want guys jogging down the floor, shooting wide open threes, or jogging for layups and wide open dunks. Like, you want resistance, right? You want to see great offense against great defense. Like, for me, Kobe Bryant, like what he was doing in those like 2005, 2006, 2007 seasons, where the roster had literally no spacing, no other guys to take any kind of the pressure away from him. And he's playing, double, triple teams night in and night out. Dude averaged 40 points per game for a month. He scored 50 or more in 4 straight games. The 81-point game that year, he outscored the Mavericks through 3 quarters by himself, in the face of really good defense, because league-wide scoring average at the time was 96 points per game. So all this just a long-winded way for me to say Adam Silver has to go. I said it on last week's show. Amid dwindling ratings, all-time lows in popularity, and they're going to puff up their Christmas Day ratings, but overall viewership, popularity, all at really historic lows. You got to go back to the 70s to point to this lack of interest in the league. It's time to make changes, and that begins with getting new leadership at the top, which is Adam Silver.
I got to ask, does anyone understand who is responsible when an Adam Silver is given a big extension? Like, who gives him that extension? Because he's been failing for years. And what news do we get? Oh, he signs a huge extension. So who's ultimately responsible for
the owners? The commissioner is always a representative of the owners. That's always the breakdown in the end.
So they're making money and they don't care that the product is going away. I mean, what?
Well, I don't know what the owners are thinking. I'm just saying the commissioner is there to represent the owners at the end of the day. Like, that's who pays his salary, kind of thing.
Nick, where do you see Victor Wembanyama in 2 to 3 years? We keep having these super chats come in, which is a good thing. I'm going to take a break after the $50 one, and then we'll get back into the topic, and then we'll go back to the other ones.
Not to be a nerd here and quote Dragon Ball Z, but I feel like Victor Wembanyama is like the final form of this era of basketball, if that can kind of make sense, right? He is, I think he is the end result of what like a Dirk and KD and a ball handler have kind of evolved into, right? And I'm excited to see, at first I kind of had the KD doubts. I thought he won't be able to be very physical. Maybe they'll figure him out. But I'm excited to see what he can do. And he's in San Antonio. So, Dallas is going to have to compete with him. So I don't say that like as if I like it, but he seems to take the game serious. I think he wants to win, right? I think he is coachable. He doesn't seem to have a negative chip on his shoulder, if that makes sense, right? I think he likes to compete, and we'll see how it goes. He's still very young. So mentally, how does he mature? We'll see. But I think overall he's fun to watch, and it's the two-way. Like, he is a good defender, right? As much as we hate seeing him shoot that many threes, he is a good two-way player. That's what's so, I think, fun to see. I'm more excited to see his defensive accolades and how they might stack up in the end versus his offense. But that's how I kind of see him. I think he's kind of like the final form of this era in a way.
The Gold Eagle 99 says, how do y'all feel about, for $50, how do y'all feel about the NBA fan base constantly tearing down its past errors and players where it doesn't happen as much with other fans of sports? For me, I think it's laughable because I go and I'll do debates on the side sometimes, not on my channel. And I recently did a Bob Cousy versus Steph Curry debate. And I think there's a real argument that he's greater than Steph Curry. I believe I overwhelmingly won that debate. I'm going to have an upcoming Bob Pettit versus Dirk Nowitzki debate. Sorry, Nick, I'm going to absolutely run over that debate and prove how Bob Pettit's greater than Dirk Nowitzki.
Hey, I won't get in between a man and his paycheck. You do what you have to do.
I'm demonetized, but either way, it's just for the zeal of it. The aspect of what I'm getting at is that I think it's terrible. I think it's horrible to disrespect the players of old. And I'm not really one for the other sports to understand why they do or do not. But I believe that because the NBA is, I believe, in ways a larger personality-driven league than something like hockey or football. Not that they don't have personalities driving them. I think it's just different. So I think that's part of it, is they're trying to sell the personalities versus the play style. And it is kind of a conundrum. Anyway, Scap, I don't think we got to your bad. I think we've gone around the tree about 5 times and off in a different direction. What about your bad for 2024? What was the bad of 2024?
Dart, I thought you were intentionally skipping me, which probably would have been beneficial to you, to the channel, and everybody else listening. Because I again, with the Thunder, I called the Thunder in the summer that they would win the title this year. And in the summer, I have been calling, I continue to call, and I will continue to talk about the Denver Nuggets and the pitiful job that they've done in enhancing and supporting Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is, whatever you want to say about him, again, we don't even have to make it historic. We could just keep it in this century. He is going to lead the NBA more than likely for a 5th consecutive season in every major advanced analytic category. Has preposterous box plus minus as always, preposterous on offs as always. He is still the odds-on favorite to win his 4th league MVP in 5 seasons as of today, right now, when we record this, in all major publications in Las Vegas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He is the best player since at least 2010. And if you want to look at the other great players since 2010 that I'm including in this mix, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic has never played with a single all-star in a full decade. Look at what those other guys did, those other 3 names I just mentioned. Look in their first 10 seasons, what they played with. I'm not asking for them to play with top 3 league-wide players. I'm not asking for Nikola Jokic to play with Shea or Giannis or Luka, which is what all 3 of those guys did. LeBron, Durant, and Curry all did that. They all played in their first 10-year span with an equivalent of either like a Luka today, a Shea today, or a Giannis today. I don't want that at all because it's cowardly, pathetic, and disgusting. What I do want is for Nikola Jokic to have a serviceable damn all-star. He's been in the league 10 years, and he is the best player since 2010. To me, the best player of this century outside of Kobe Bryant, and he can't get anybody to run with him that is a viable. And you guys can throw whoever you want at me, Jamal Murray, whatever. It's pathetic and it's disgusting what his organization has done, continues to do to him. He somehow won a title, but that is my bad. It will continue to be my bad because Jokic is going to play probably 15 years before he plays with an all-star, if he ever does.
Can I please push back on that, please?
Oh, please,
Yes,
please, thank God.
Robin usually is biting at the tooth and nail.
I appreciate your NBA acumen, but come on. I mean, listen, you're doing right now, no disrespect, but you're doing what we blame LeBron James fans for doing right now. I mean, how much help does this guy need, right? There's something called covering up the mistakes. If he's everything you say he is, then cover up the mistakes. Listen, Jamal Murray being named an all-star is not the measuring stick. We know he's an elite player when it counts to most, right? Porter Jr. and all these guys, right? Has Denver made some moves that kind of make you go, yeah. But do they have enough to get it done? Absolutely. Game 7 last year versus Minnesota. Why is your big man, the guy who's the second best player of this century, arguably shooting 8-9 threes in the Game 7, not taking it to the basket, punishing Rudy Gobert, right? He didn't do that last year. And again, you bring all these metric stats. That's the issue, Scap, right? Because you get on LeBron James fans, and listen, I'm not a LeBron James fan whatsoever, but you're praising stats. Like, I don't care about stats, right? Stats are just one piece of the puzzle. Like, his game needs to impact winning. They're 17-13. He just dropped 60 points about 3 weeks ago, and he lost the game, right? He lost that game. And so, again, Joker needs to do more on the basketball court. And guess what? Sometimes less is more. I don't want my 7-foot point guard running the point. I don't want my 7-foot center acting as a point guard, right? Let's get back to traditional basketball. Maybe if Joker allows his players to be themselves, he can get more out of them. Him getting 30, 10, and 10, to me, is not always a winning formula for that roster, right? And so, again, you adapt your game according to your personnel. So if Denver Nuggets, Scap, have taken some guys away from him, then Joker, modify your game and do what's best for winning, not what's best for individual stats. And so, again, you're doing what we blame LeBron fans for doing, saying now he doesn't have enough help. And how can you justify that he's been the greatest player since Kobe Bryant or you said something like that? Did you not watch Steph Curry? Did you not watch other guys? Like, this is crazy. The guy doesn't even play defense like that, right? And so, again, it's about making guys better. He's not making his teammates better right now. That's on him. He's the leader. That's on him. And again, this team has gone as Jamal Murray has taken them. I saw Jamal Murray drop 4 straight games in the finals with 10-plus assists. So Jamal has shown the ability to run the offense. But for some strange reason, Mike Malone, who I respect, he used to be a coach here in Sacramento, he puts the ball in Joker's hands. That's not a winning formula. You got that championship versus an undersized Miami Heat team. Kudos to you. But he's a one-trick pony, right? He's a one-trick pony. Joker needs to do less. Sometimes less is more.
Dart,
my
I've gotta get a shot at this. before
No,
the cap goes.
no, absolutely not, AOH. Absolutely not. I sat here and I didn't interrupt one time.
That was the worst
I
thing
sat
I've
here
ever
and I
heard in
let
my
him
life.
go the whole time.
Worst
No,
thing I've heard in
my
life.
turn. My turn to talk. And everybody else can shut the hell up and not interrupt me like I didn't interrupt him. Okay? You good, AOH?
Go
Okay.
ahead, Cap.
I had your back,
Okay.
bro. I had your back.
Because I would like to just credit myself for not interrupting through that entire diatribe. Therefore, again, as I just said, I would like the similar respect allotted to me so that I can just continue to say and make my points with what I want to say. Again, I'm not comparing this dude to Hakeem Olajuwon at this point or Michael Jordan. I'm comparing him to contemporary players. I'm comparing him to his contemporary players. The players post when Kobe Bryant's era waned and declined, who to me, Kobe Bryant is the second greatest player in my book in NBA history. That's where I have Kobe Bryant. After his time ended, which whatever era or time you want to say it was, 2010, 2011, 2012. From that time forth, Nikola Jokic is easily the best player. And if we're comparing him to the others, the Steph Curry, let's look what Steph Curry did. In his 7th season in the NBA, he had one championship, one that with 2 perennial all-star guys in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. He wasn't close to a good defender, mind you. Andre Iguodala was the perimeter defender, and Draymond Green anchored their defense as a whole. And they won 73 games that year. That wasn't enough help for Steph, though. So in his 7th season as the unanimous league MVP, with 2 perennial all-stars and surefire Hall of Famers, he boarded a plane with the other cowards on his team and flew across country to the Hamptons to beg Kevin Durant to join up. And what did Kevin Durant do? Let's take a look at that guy who at the time was in his 8th NBA season. He had played multiple years with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, a surefire Hall of Famer, a perennial all-star, a league MVP. Not enough help. He's got to go join a 73-win team in his 8th season. So in Steph Curry's 8th and 9th year, and Durant's 9th and 10th year, those were the teams they had winning multiple championships with. How about LeBron? At the end of his 7th season in Cleveland, he had played with multiple All-Stars. He had played with an All-NBA caliber defensive players, had the best record in the sport, won league MVPs, not enough help. So he has to go and join Dwayne Wade, who is a top 3 player in the NBA, undisputed at that time in his 8th season, and that's who he won championships with in year 8, 9, and 10. But so they didn't win, my guy, Mr. Moss. They couldn't do it. They weren't good enough. They cheated the NBA. They cheated themselves. They destroyed the competitive balance of the sport to go beg and whine other players to help them steal cheap titles. Now Jokic is sitting here with literally less than any of them had. He won one already, and he's not asking for anything. He's not leaving to go anywhere. And you're going to sit here and criticize him while defending Steph Curry like Steph Curry is some elite defender? Get out of here. Stop it. That team, the Golden State Warriors, were a top 3 net rated defense every single year that they won a title. 4 titles in Steph Curry's time frame. Top 3 net rated defense year end when they won 4 championships. Steph Curry stinks at defense. Congratulations for building a defensive team around him to hide his limitations.
I can't believe you spent a Jokic LeBron topic 10 minutes shitting on Curry and Durant instead. I mean, all right. Now listen, here's my take.
LeBron's
You
in the
don't
same
have to-
sentence as them.
You don't even have to look at, we don't have to decide whether or not LeBron's team is talented or Jokic's team is talented. All you have to do is look at the number of transactions and the conversations surrounding those 2 players. Never ending talk about getting LeBron more. every season, every preseason, every beginning of season, every midseason, every trade deadline, every all-star break, every playoffs, and then the summer, never fucking ending. We've got to get LeBron more help. And it happens. Never-ending transactions. Never-ending transactions. So no matter how talented, because this is going to be a little bit opinionated, you guys can go off on this forever. No matter who you guys want to look at on those guys' teams, you can't compare the two in terms of attempts to get help, because I see hardly anything happening on the Nuggets team. I don't care if you think that Christian Brown is like the next Michael Jordan. They don't have transactions taking place to help in that case. And it gets old when you hear every single day, what are you going to do to salvage LeBron's career? You're wasting LeBron's career when LeBron James is destroying everyone around him. The Lakers Warriors game, twice in the game when LeBron James went to the bench, the Lakers extended their lead. And you know what the announcers are saying? How are the Lakers going to survive this stretch with LeBron on the bench? Well, look at the fucking game, Doris Burke and Richard Jefferson, and watch the Lakers do better without him. Does that ever happen when Jokic goes to the bench? Does that ever happen when Jokic goes to the bench? No. So I don't want to hear shit that Jokic is doing too much. That team desperately needs Jokic, while the Lakers desperately need LeBron to sit the fuck down.
Richard Jefferson, do you have something to say? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Mr. Moss, you want to respond?
I'm just gonna say, calling Jokic a one-trick pony is crazy work, dude. That's all.
Hey, I was gonna mention AOH as you were talking. I just got the update that D'Angelo Russell got traded to the Nets.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy,
get your news from a horse? Come on.
I'll be quick. I'll be
Mr.
quick.
Moss respond real fast.
I'll be quick. And I totally respect Scap and Angry Who's fan. My thing is this: if we're going to deem Joker the best player since Kobe Bryant, then when winning time arises, then I need Joker to be the difference in these games, right? And Who's fans, I've seen Jamal Murray carry the offense with Joker on the bench and make clutch shots, big shots, keep leads available. Listen, do the Nuggets have an elite roster? No, they don't. But they have enough to be better than 17-13 and get something done. That's all I'm saying here. All I'm saying is this: I don't want my 7-foot center being a point guard, right? Jamal Murray has shown he can run the offense. And again, when you guys say Joker needs to do more, no, more isn't always the answer. Sometimes less is more. Let your teammates be teammates, right? And he talks about transactions and trades and stuff. Why is that always the answer? Why can't we hold these superstars to a standard that we held Jordan and guys like the Bulls won't ask him for trades and transactions? MJ says, it's okay. Give me my deck of cards. Come fourth quarter, I'll take us home. Kobe Bean Bryant, same thing. Give me my deck of cards. Fourth quarter, winning time, I'll take us home. I need Joker to do that if he's going to be the best player since Kobe Bean Bryant, Scap. I mean, listen, these are excuses. Go get it done. Listen, no roster is balanced and complete. Like, listen, there is no perfect roster. I think the Boston Celtics might be the best constructed roster. But other than that, I mean, isn't that why he's the man? Isn't that why he's a 3-time MVP? Isn't that why you call him the best player since Kobe Bean Bryant? So then hold him to that standard. Listen,
who holds LeBron?
Your role players get you there, and your superstars take you home. And so I don't care about transactions and trades and blah blah blah. Like, you're putting Joker on this pedestal, which he doesn't even belong to. Last point, Dart, I promise. He's not even facing real centers on a nightly basis. To be honest with you, he's really playing power forwards on a night in and night out basis. He plays AD and B once or twice a year. I mean, if they play. And so again, I mean, I can't even assess this guy properly because he's not even playing real big man. And so he has an advantage night in and night out. And again, I go back to last season versus Minnesota in Game 7. Your center shooting 7-8 threes in the fourth quarter, missing all of them, not running offense, not playing defense, not rebounding. But he's the best player since Kobe Bean Bryant, and he's not being held accountable. Y'all blame Jamal Murray and those guys. Stop it, man. Like, this is crazy, right? To whom much is given, much is required. Joker, he's not getting it done. Listen. I think he's stat padding to a certain degree because the ball's in his hands too much. You feel me? We want LeBron James teammates to be teammates, right? Go let your point guard be a point guard. Let your small forward rebound or do what he does. Why is Joker tasked to do everything? That's not a winning formula. It's not a winning. Oh, and then last point too, I promise, Dart. Didn't Jamal Murray run the point guard in the finals? Didn't he have 4 straight games, set an NBA record with 10 plus assists in the finals? Scap, that's an NBA record. It wasn't Joker doing that. It was Jamal Murray. Then Jamal Murray hit game winners versus the Lakers. So this team goes as Jamal Murray goes, if you want to be honest about it. Joker's the best player by far. I'm not arguing that. But again, you make it seem like Jamal doesn't even matter. He does matter. I was just in Sacramento 2 weeks ago, Denver versus the Kings. Did you see Jamal in the fourth quarter? He killed it. He's the reason why they won that game. 18
you
points
guys
in
will
the
notice
fourth
that I
quarter.
was.
Dropped a big shot.
You guys
I
will
like
notice
Joker.
that I was. You guys will
I like
notice I was
Joker a
very-
lot. But come on, man. Like, listen, you guys are doing with him what we blame LeBron James fans are doing. Now all of a sudden he has no help. Sports
No.
fans. He needs
Stop
more
All
help.
right, come on.
Stop,
This is
'cause I'm gonna be
literally
fast.
brief. He keeps saying he's going to be brief, and it literally is 10 minutes long. I actually will be brief.
My
I
bad,
actually
guys.
will be
My
brief.
bad.
Can I educate people, please?
I actually will be brief in my response, which we can have this be the final response, because I know this is why I didn't want to go, Dart, because I knew it was going to devolve into this.
It's all fun.
Nikola
Scott, you know that.
Jokic, the year they won the NBA championship, became the first player in NBA history in the playoffs to lead a postseason in points, rebounds, and assists. No one else ever did it before him. That was the year they won the title. He
Win
averaged
shares too, Scap.
he averaged 30, 13, and 9.5, nearly a 30-point triple-double in the year they won the NBA championship. Okay, it was a historically individual great run, and yet all I hear about is Jamal Murray. Like, Nikola Jokic was phenomenal in that postseason, and he would do that every season. I'm not even saying that Jamal wasn't great in that playoffs. He was. The problem is he isn't ever anymore. That's why if Jamal Murray would deliver that level of assistance he did in that postseason run, Jokic would be sitting on his second straight championship and looking for his
2020.
third straight, but he didn't play like that at all last season. However, Nikola Jokic did. Finally, the reason why I get so worked up about this and so aggravated and yell, because typically I'm such a cool, collected, easygoing guy, but I get worked up and yell because of the scrubbish, pathetic loser take that in some way I am not being consistent. In some way, I am being hypocritical, that I am holding Nikola Jokic to a different standard than I hold LeBron James. It's pathetic, and it's a loser, and anyone that says that is a pathetic fraud to me, and that's why it annoys the ever-loved hell out of me that you're telling me how I am. Me, that I'm not being consistent. Get the hell out of here. I know more about this than you, quite frankly, and I'm not going to be dictated to and told that I'm being a hypocrite from anyone on this panel, on anywhere else. I am holding Nikola Jokic to the exact same standard that I held LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry to. Nikola Jokic ain't doing what they did. He won without leaving. He won without teaming up. He won without a top 3 player. None of those guys could. And guess what? Nikola Jokic isn't saying he needs more help. He's not running. I'm the one that's saying it. I'm the one that's talking about it. His support compared to the other legends of this 2010 era. Look at the support the other great players have had since 2010 and compare it to Nikola Jokic. It ain't close, my friends. Jamal Murray, it's not close. Jamal Murray's not close to Dwayne Wade. He's not close to Kevin Durant.
Hey, Scott,
see, I was very specific.
It's messing up your screen resolution when you yell.
Real fast. Just to segue from this a little bit, and then Robin, I know you want to go, and you haven't spoken yet. So real fast, Johnny Arnett said that he may be returning around January 15th. For the people that are interested in seeing him live again, he may be here during that time. Robin,
you have to let me retaliate for 2 seconds.
This is why we should have skipped.
I very
Skip my bad.
specifically
This is
left,
why.
I very specifically left talent out of my conversation. I never called Jokic the best. I never said who was good on which team. But to talk about Michael Jordan not wanting help and then pretend that transactions aren't important when today's GOAT, the guy promoted as a GOAT, never endingly, it's 100+ trades on LeBron James's watch every day. Why do I have to hear about all the help that he needs? And I'm not hearing that Jokic is the GOAT. I'm not hearing that, we need to help Jokic with this season. You know, I don't have any horses in the race for Jokic, but for him to sit there quietly while his front office does very little, while the Lakers, like Rob Pelinka, is about to be crucified despite doing everything he possibly could to appease LeBron James, bringing in more help for him. And that's happening at the exact same time in this league for somebody who's still being promoted as the face of the league, never ending getting help for LeBron James, while he continues to whine and hold a franchise hostage. I guess that one makes it intolerable for me. One person sitting there quietly, like Scap said. Scap's the one whining for him to get more help. It's not Jokic doing it.
100%.
Okay, I'm done.
Robin, did you want to add something? I know that this is one of your favorite topics.
Listen, it had devolved into, I don't even know where we just went down right there, because you guys are on the money. There's really no comparison with LeBron James. So let's just get LeBron James out of our minds. But I mean, I'm a little confused, because I think what Mr. Moss is alluding to is, you know, it's pretty much coming to an excuse. Because when we read off these numbers that Nikola Jokic puts up, and then we look at where his team is in the standings, or we look at the lack of overall success, let's say, but you look at the individual success that he's garnered throughout his career, then what you're alluding to is, once again, it's excuses. Because those numbers are not having an impact overall on the wins, apparently, right? Because you're alluding to he doesn't have the help. He doesn't have the guys around him to assist in the winning. All right, so we get that. The problem is that when we talk about historic, I know, Scab, you're not speaking historic, but this is what the problem is, though. Because once again, you're making it seem as if other guys historically didn't have really any help either. Let's think about someone like Patrick Ewing, for example. Does anybody remember all the great players that Patrick Ewing played with throughout his career? Can you name any top 75 guys that Patrick Ewing played with in his career, man? He didn't play with really any help. But the difference being is, really, when we talk about Patrick Ewing not winning, why is that? Because he went against Michael Jordan, man. And he went against the Rockets. The Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon, that's a great player, a great team. Were they not? So Patrick Ewing, in his own right, would probably have a championship, maybe several championships, if he played in this era. Because how much help would he really need to beat some of the teams over the last several seasons? That's where we're alluding to. When we think about someone like Jason Kidd, for example, in the back-to-back finals that he went to, that was pretty damn impressive what he was able to do, leading a bunch of guys that you don't really know. Guys like Kenyon Martin, who's a quality player. He's a decent guy, but is he really anything without Jason Kidd? Is Richard Jefferson without Jason Kidd? And he was able to go to back-to-back finals, and he was a big-time player. But Jason Kidd didn't win any championships. But why didn't he win any championships? He didn't go against the 2023 Miami Heat. He didn't have that luxury. He went against the Dynasty Lakers and the Dynasty Spurs in the finals. So imagine if Jason Kidd was going against a lesser competition in the finals, then perhaps we're like, damn, Jason Kidd went back-to-back championships with Richard Jefferson and Kenyon Martin as his best players. That's pretty damn impressive. Mr. Moss, you mentioned the Sacramento Kings earlier and the series that they got into with the Los Angeles Lakers and how it went 7 games. And the interesting thing when I was listening to you break down the games is how you were talking about how the game came down to last-second plays often and big-time plays at big-time moments. Think about that series. What is that highlighting to you right there? That the Sacramento Kings went against a great team. That's why they didn't beat the Lakers, because the Lakers were a goddamn great team, man. That's why. The Sacramento Kings, though, if they played in this week era against lesser inferior teams, maybe they would have won a championship. But they went against one of the all-time great teams, and that's why they lost that series. Not because it was fixed. It was because they went against a goddamn great team, man. So when we talk about Nikola Jokic and the lack of help that he's had in his career, you're on the money, Scap. But once again, how much help do you need in this era? Yes, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, those guys, we've called them out. He should not even be compared to those guys. That's the point here. Nikola Jokic was being praised because he was doing more with less. And that's why we respect him, man. Those are the facts.
And I agree with you. Robin, you've beat me down. I'm with you. I agree with you. I'm done. I'm not even talking about.
No, we're good today, me and you,
the comps. Right. I'm not even talking about historical comps. I'm talking about this era. There is no, and this era has been led by LeBron, Durant, and Curry.
Would you put Jokic above Tim Duncan right now?
No, of course not.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's get to super chats. I don't think we're going to have time for the ugly. I think it got a little ugly a couple times during the show.
They love
I think
it.
Yeah, no, it's got its
Well,
place.
good.
Yep.
Good debate.
Absolutely. So let's go through some super chats. Matt for $10 says send the first
Otis
one to
dying,
Scap,
man.
this one to
Otis
AOH. AOH is a little off on Ant. He plays hard and wants to compete, and it's funny as hell. What do you have to say about that, AOH?
What? Jesus Christ! Seriously, the guy who out of his own mouth says he's not going to drive the lane anymore because he doesn't want any wear and tear on his body in his 20s. Come on, think about what you just said.
All right. Gary for $12 says salute to my homies. Sports and Fitness Rants, AOH, and Scap Attack. Keep that same energy. Can you guys define super team? I personally think it's a player-made team with 2 legit first options and at least a second option. And thoughts. Robin, do you want to do this one since? Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with the super teams because that's a loaded question, man. But for me, I would just say simply to me, there have been many super teams in NBA's history. When we think about some of the great teams, they're super teams, man. They got a lot of great players, and they're just a great team. But when we talk about the quote-unquote super teams, I think what people are alluding to is how these teams came about. That's really, I think, the way, the nature of how these teams were developed. And I think that's really what it is, man. Because once again, when we talk about guys, joining up with each other, it's not necessarily that other players didn't come together or try to ring chase, quote unquote. It's like Scott was saying earlier. Look at when these guys are coming together. They're coming together at the peaks of their careers, and these guys are coming together from the same draft class, which is kind of, that never happens like that. Like I said, the way that they're about. So that to me is the definition of a super team.
Cameron Peterson super chats somebody for $2 Canadian. He says Daryl Dawkins would be fantastic in this era. Hoop God, do you have something you want to say about that?
Daryl Dawkins, aka Chocolate Thunder, I think he would absolutely dominate this era. I mean, let's just be honest. Who could stop that man back then? You know, and you actually had guys with the mentality like they had that dog in them, and he's breaking backboards. So yeah, man, you put Chocolate
Is
Thunder
he gonna hurt his hand
in
on the
this
rim, Hoop
era.
God?
Say it again.
Is he gonna hurt his hand on the rim?
Oh no. He gonna shake that off, man. No, he ain't gonna hurt himself, man. Come on, man. That's Chocolate
The
Thunder.
rim's getting hurt.
Exactly.
All right, the Gold Eagle 99 super chats. I assume Scap for $20. Scap, how will you judge the Joker's career if he ends his career with more MVPs than championships?
I mean, again, it's difficult in the context of this era. It's difficult because I've talked about this era ad nauseum. Honestly, I think everything is easier to accrue today. It's a far more efficient era than any time before. The pace, the rate, the scoring per game, it's out of this world. I mean, just look at what some of these guys are averaging. I mean, we talked about Trey earlier leading the league in assists for a second time. Look at his career numbers. Look at Trey's career numbers. He's averaging like 22 and 11 for a career. Like all these guys' numbers today are on steroids. So I understand when people say like it's easier with the usage that these players are getting, with the lack of defense, the lack of resistance, but still in all of it, Jokic's numbers are still better than all of these guys now that he's playing against. So even amid this easy era, Jokic is still king. And look, Hakeem is in my top 5. Hakeem Olajuwon is one of my all-time favorite players, elite two-way player, arguably one of the 2 best peaks of all time. He's in my top 5 ever, and he has only 2 titles. So what are we saying? Like, can Jokic be possibly a top 10 to me with just 1 title? If Hakeem is top 5 with 2, then it is possible. I think for me, Jokic does not play great defense, which my top 5 are all elite two-way players. My top 5 all time, elite two-way players. But Magic is in my top 10. I think Steph Curry is a fringe top 10 player. Kevin Durant's top 15. None of these guys are good defenders. So if they can all be in the conversation as well, despite not being elite defenders, then Jokic can overcome that hurdle as well. So if I think he will end with more MVPs than championships. There's no doubt about that, because he ain't getting 3 championships, and if he gets a 4th MVP, he's obviously not going to get close to that many titles. But I think Jokic is already creeping his way into top 15 here, if not already there. So yeah, I think I could still rate his career fairly highly, regardless of how many ever championships he might end with, unless he does go team up with an elite player and fail. If he does that, then I'm going to criticize him just like I criticize LeBron. If Jokic went and ran to Dallas to play with Luka, which is exactly what the kind of move LeBron did when he went to Miami to play with Wade, and they failed, well, I would be highly critical of Jokic in that failure. And I would be critical in and of itself, because it's a weak, pathetic move.
Hey, could I follow Scap's point real quick? Scap, you said something that I wanted to speak on. Where would we rank Karl Malone had he won 1 championship plus his 2 MVPs? Would that be enough to put him top 10? Because I think it would.
Not for me. I know you're not asking me, but no, not even close.
No. Everybody can engage. I was just directing it to Scap because he made the point. But I mean, anybody can engage it.
I mean, yeah. Looking at what my top 10 is right now, it would be hard to fit Karl Malone in, even if he had gotten 1.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
I think he would be thought of much higher. Like the overall consensus, not just by me, but by like NBA public or whatever, NBA media, NBA historians, I think it would be much higher than it is with him having none.
Right.
There's a case to be made
keep him out of the top 10 because he banged his 16-year-old granddaughter? Can't we just keep him out because of that?
I mean, if you take it that route, yeah. But I was just trying to go, strictly basketball.
No,
but
he's out.
yeah, I get that.
Just for me, he's out because of that.
16's on the high end, isn't it? From what I understand.
That's fair.
No, it was 1-3. It wasn't 16.
But judging basketball, Karl Malone is if you give him a title with his accolades, his longevity, he's very durable. Physical, style of play, mid-range jump shooter, run the court. Strictly judging basketball, there's a case to be made. If he had a championship, is he a top 10 player? I mean, yeah, I can make the case. So I get you, Scap. I mean, it's a fair point.
King's speech.
Once again, why would it be such a big deal? Because the era he played in. These are things that we're alluding to. When I hear people talk about Will Chamberlain a lot, they always say, they start off with, Will Chamberlain only won 2 titles. They literally say only won 2. And sometimes I'm like, okay, only 1, 2 compared to who? And once again, and when did he play? I want them to name me the other people that were winning multiple championships in the 60s. And you can't name those people. If they were on the Celtics, you can't name them, man. So when we talk about the greatness of a Bob Pettit, and we talk about the greatness of someone like a Will Chamberlain, and we talk about someone like a Jerry West, who often they'll say, he was 1-8 in the finals. Well, why the hell was he 1-8? He wasn't 1-8 because he was standing in the corner scoring 16 and 17 points a game, and he couldn't guard someone like Jason Terry. He wasn't choking up. His nickname was Mr. Clutch. So once again, the Lakers were not losing because of Jerry West. They were losing why? Because of the competition he was going against. He was going against one of the most legendary dynasties, if not the most legendary dynasty, not only in basketball, but in all the sports, man. So once again, these are the things that we're alluding to. When you talked to him earlier, you mentioned Hakeem Olajuwon. He has 2 championships, but he's still in your top 5. Well, he has 2 championships, but how often do we hear people say things like, Hakeem Olajuwon's lucky that Michael Jordan retired because Michael Jordan might have won 8 in a row. Michael Jordan might have won 4 in a row. The Bulls might have won XYZ. So what they're saying and what they're highlighting is that Hakeem Olajuwon era, the era he played in, the guy that was the dominant force in that era, was so damn great that he may have been lucky that Michael Jordan retired. Now, real actual basketball fans can actually say and understand that would have been a goddamn series between the Rockets and the Bulls. They're not guaranteed to win those championships. But once again, that's what they're highlighting, how great the damn era was, man.
Scap has another super chat for $2 from King's Speech. Scap, is Murray close to a prime Tony Parker?
Look, I don't want to just be a shit on Jamal Murray session.
Be careful, Scap.
Me yell at the whole panel like it is anytime Jokic gets brought up. But no, that's not even remotely close. So prime Tony Parker is substantially above Jamal Murray.
All right, Matt, super chats for Scap as well. for $10. Skev, what Steph did was because of LeBron. It's not the same thing, excuse me. LeBron had just built 2 super teams. KD going to the Warriors was an FU to LeBron for pulling this over and over. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I've made that case over and over again. In a vacuum, the move of KD going to Steph's team is worse. In a vacuum, it's worse than whatever LeBron did, because you're taking a 73-9 team from the year before, and Kevin Durant, who's like the second or third best player in the sport at the time, who lost to that 73-9 team, is now joining that 73-9 team. It's absolutely pitiful. So in a vacuum, yeah, I'll grant these LeBron sycophant jock sniffers that in a vacuum, that's a worse move. However, it would have never been done if LeBron didn't make it okay by taking his talents to South Beach to pair up with his bestie in Dwayne Wade. And then look, when Dwayne Wade and Bosch when that team was failing after LeBron had squeezed out all of the juices from them, so to speak, he then goes to Cleveland. And I see this, and let me just squeeze this in real quick. Many people will push back on me now, like 12 years later. Oh, Cleveland, are you out of your mind, Scap? Are you crazy? Cleveland wasn't a super team. Oh, I beg to differ. They had a young ascending Kyrie Irving at the time, and Kevin Love was so good at the time. He 24-11 and 4 career at 24-13 and 4 career averages the year before he went to join up in Cleveland. He was so good that, do you remember the rigging for Wiggins movement in the NBA back then? How everybody wanted Andrew Wiggins, this young, transcendent, up and coming, like undisputed #1 overall pick. The Cavaliers traded that to get Kevin Love out of Minnesota. That's how damn good Kevin Love was that year before. So that was unequivocally a super team. They go and beat that 73-9 Warriors team because Kyrie Irving outplayed Steph Curry head-to-head for a 7-game series. They had the 2 best players in LeBron and Kyrie Irving by far, and then because of that, the Warriors. So people say, "Oh, this is how good LeBron was. KD needed to team up with a 73-9 win team." No. How good LeBron's super team was that they beat a 73-9 team in the regular season, and that's why KD joined. So I understand the full ideology and mentality as to why Steph went and did the recruitment. All I'm saying is it happened. And if we want to give Jokic like Shea or Giannis or Luka for 2 or 3 years and see how many championships he has, then let's go ahead and do it. And I can be critical of him the same as I am of these other guys.
Scap and I have talked about this in length. We actually did a show on it. And I think it's interesting that Kevin Durant is called a bus rider and a bum and all that. And yet everybody acts like recruiting him was the craziest thing ever. You guys act like they went out and got the current GOAT. I thought that was LeBron James. I mean, I say that the same success would not have taken place if LeBron James had recruited Kevin Durant. Wouldn't have worked. I don't think it would have succeeded. But you talk about like that was the end of the super team building. No, another reason that they did it was that LeBron was at his old antics. The 2017, the 2018 rosters were both additional attempts at super teams. And I'll put out one detail that gets left out a lot. Bogut getting hurt was a huge difference maker in 2016. Yep. What did the Cleveland fucking Cavaliers do? I think they noticed that. Guess what they did in 2017? They went and got Bogut. Now Bogut got hurt, so it didn't work out for them. But once again, look what they're trying to do. LeBron James has constantly tried to have super teams. They don't always work out, but the effort is consistently there. And talking about leaving franchises diminished, another 3 second-round picks just left the Lakers in order to achieve this trade that we're talking about right now, the D'Angelo Russell trade. In addition to the personnel, another 3 second-round picks. And in addition to God knows how many picks they've already given up during LeBron's tenure. So when LeBron does retire, guess what LeBron fans are going to say? Oh, look, the Lakers suck now. Well, he's left them dead in the water. He's going to have left them dead in the water, as he does with every franchise he goes to.
All right. Well, I think today's show was entertaining. It went around the went around the tree a couple times, went around the block. We got back. We finished most of what we were going to cover. And we had a lot of entertaining debates, a lot of great super chats, and questions from people as well. So first, I want to thank the chat for coming here and supporting all of us. Please, if you want to, please compel YouTube. Tell them that I'm not stealing content, because I'm not. Anyway, and the stuff that I did steal, I did repurpose. So there you go. I didn't steal it all the way. Anyway, but yeah, past that. Steam Engine, you got anything for the people?
I'm exhausted. Yeah, I thank all you guys as always. I do want to say, keep a lookout on this D'Lo trade, because if he goes to the Nets and balls out and has any part of turning that team around, we can put this LeBron makes teammates better shit to bed finally, because D'Lo will be the ultimate experiment with that. That's all. I'm gonna back off.
Nick, you have anything to say? And also, I meant to ask you this, Speam, but I forgot. What about Precision Hoops? Are you guys going to have an episode on Wednesday?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll decide when it's on Wednesday.
All right, Nick, you got anything for the people?
No, I had fun. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to everyone in the chat. We appreciate all you guys watching. So that's all I got.
Hoop God.
Oh man, another great episode, man. I genuinely enjoy talking basketball with you upstanding gentlemen. And Dart, got a new quote. We're gonna continue to kill the cap in these basketball discussions. That's all I got.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one yesterday. AOH, what do you got to say?
I'll end with positivity and just thank everyone who's watching, tuning in, and supporting us. We appreciate you guys being there.
The show is only about positivity. Anyway, Robin, sports and fitness rants. You got anything?
Yeah, so once again, guys, you guys know the deal, man. I had a great time with you guys as usual, man. I hope everybody has a happy new year, man. Everybody's safe, man. And once again, we're going to continue to do these things, man. Set the record straight, stop the lies and stop the narratives. Like I said, guys, man, I had a great time. Thank you to everybody in the chat, anyone that's donates to our channel, anyone that supports my channel. Thank you very much, guys. And like I said, man, it's always great, man. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Moss, thank you for joining us this first time. Appreciate your insights. And I hope to see you back on in the future. And I'm sure, even though people, you got dogpiled on today about the Jokic stuff, I hope that doesn't, take away your zeal for returning. But do you have anything for the people?
Definitely enjoyed myself. I embrace these debates, these disagreements. That's what sports is about. You can do it in a respectful way and move on. That's not a bad thing. And so, listen, man, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can talk this all day, every day. And if I'm wrong or whatever it is, then it is what it is. Listen, iron sharpens iron, right? I mean, you guys are all knowledgeable on this panel. So I appreciate you guys having me on here, expressing my NBA views. So listen, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all you guys.
Awesome. Jay Scapatak, you have anything for the people?
Yeah, thank you all of you guys. Mr. Moss, as John McClane once famously said, welcome to the party, pal. Nothing personal. Ask my boy Robin. We get into at least one screaming match every time that we're both on. So it's good to welcome. Thank you for joining us here on this first show.
Yes,
and that's just our first yelling match. So hopefully, we'll have many more to come. But for everybody else on the panel and watching, I appreciate all you guys. Dart, thank you very much. And Happy New Year, everyone. Maybe into the new year, we can put like a Jokic moratorium. Like, how many times can I mention the name Jokic in an episode? Like, we can hold it to the very end, maybe, moving forward.
To LeBron fans out there, can you take a lesson from Mr. Moss? Did you see how he handled this with poise? And he takes on the competition. He doesn't just resort to saying the word hater. And can we also say that ESPN is suffering because all they do is suck each other off instead of having a real debate? So this is what people want to see now. This is why people are turning to YouTube, so we can hear people actually argue, but argue in an intelligent manner.
Absolutely. There you go. Great point. Great point.
Real fast, Scap, if you want to hang out for a couple minutes after the show, I'll show you how to to get some moderators on your channel. I think
Absolutely.
But yeah. And then, yeah, again, like I said, thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you everyone on the panel. This was great. Again, as usual, got chaotic. I
Hey,
lost.
dog, man, I'm sorry, man. I know. Listen, this is who I am, man. You know
It's
I
not
love
you, Robin. It's Jokic. It's
You know?
Jokic's fault.
It's not. It's not.
I know, man. I'm sorry, man. But you know I love you guys, man. All right, man.
Robin,
My
why do you
bad.
yell so much, bro?
It's not you, Robin. It's everyone, and it's everyone could improve. But it's not that what you're doing is bad. It's just when it's overbearing. You know what I mean? If it's
I know.
if you do it, it's fine. It's just as long as it's not for 20 minutes straight. You know what I mean? And it's not it's not just you, but the over talking, particularly when you can't even hear what somebody's saying. That's where it gets. That's when it needs to get better. The debate is perfect. No change to that. But yeah, thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the super chats, for the panel. And then, yeah, again, Johnny Arnett said that he should be coming back to visit us again within the middle of January. I'm excited to see him on the panel again. And yeah, for everyone that joined in, Michael Jordan fans are the best.